Welcome back to La Coin's World. Lincoln Penny 1982 $1.7 million. Have you ever imagined that a single penny could be worth hundreds, thousands, or even tens of thousands of dollars? It sounds unbelievable, but some of the most valuable coins in America are still hiding in everyday pocket change. Millions of people spend these coins without ever realizing their true value. One tiny detail, one rare variety, or one minting mistake can completely change the price of a simple 1-cent coin. That's why collectors carefully inspect every Lincoln penny they find. Today, on Hardest Penny, we're uncovering one of the most fascinating coins in American numismatic history, a penny that changed forever how the United States Mint produced its 1-cent coins. This is a coin surrounded by rare varieties, valuable errors, and hidden treasures that continue to excite collectors around the world. Before you spend another old penny, make sure you stay with us until the end, because the coin sitting in your pocket or coin jar could be worth far more than 1 cent. Let's discover why the 1982 Lincoln penny has become one of the most important and collectible pennies ever produced. 1982 Lincoln penny. The 1982 Lincoln penny is one of the most significant coins in modern American history because it represents the year the United States Mint changed the metal composition of the Lincoln cent. For decades, Lincoln pennies have been struck using 95% copper and 5% zinc. Rising copper prices eventually made it too expensive to continue producing pennies with that composition. As a result, during 1982, the Mint introduced a new version made primarily of zinc with a very thin outer layer of copper. This change created one of the most interesting collecting challenges ever seen in the Lincoln cent series, because both copper and zinc pennies were produced during the same year. Unlike most dates, the 1982 Lincoln penny exists in several different major varieties. Collectors recognize 7 standard business strike varieties. These include the 1982 Philadelphia Large Date Copper, Philadelphia Small Date Copper, Philadelphia Large Date Zinc, Philadelphia Small Date Zinc, Denver Large Date Copper, Denver Large Date Zinc, and Denver Small Date Zinc. Each variety has unique characteristics, making 1982 one of the most studied years in Lincoln cent collecting. Identifying the correct variety requires careful examination of both the date style and the coin's weight. The easiest way to determine whether a 1982 penny is copper or zinc is by weighing it on a precise digital scale. A copper penny weighs approximately 3.11 grams, while a zinc penny weighs about 2.5 grams. This small difference is extremely important because some varieties are much scarcer than others. Even a fraction of a gram can help reveal whether a coin is an ordinary circulation piece or a potentially valuable collectible. Collectors also pay close attention to the large date and small date designs. The numbers in the date were modified during production, creating 2 distinct styles. On the large date variety, the numbers appear thicker and taller, while the small date variety has slimmer, more delicate digits. The number 2 is especially helpful when identifying the variety because its shape differs noticeably between the 2 designs. Perhaps the most famous variety associated with this year is the 1982 D Small Date Copper Lincoln penny. According to official Mint records, Denver was only supposed to strike small date pennies using the new zinc composition. However, a few copper examples somehow escaped into circulation. These coins became one of the greatest modern discoveries in American coin collecting. Only a very small number of genuine examples have been confirmed, making this one of the rarest Lincoln pennies ever found. Because of its incredible rarity, an authentic 1982 D Small Date Copper penny is worth an extraordinary amount of money. Certified examples have sold at major auctions for well over $10,000, while some high-grade specimens have reached prices exceeding $20,000. Every year, collectors continue checking thousands of 1982 D pennies, hoping to discover another genuine copper example. Although the chances are extremely small, the possibility keeps the excitement alive. The obverse of the 1982 Lincoln penny features the familiar portrait of President Abraham Lincoln designed by Victor David Brenner. Above Lincoln appears the motto, "In God We Trust," while Liberty is located to the left and the date is shown on the right. Coins produced at the Denver Mint display a small d mint mark beneath the date, while Philadelphia coins from 1982 do not carry a mint mark. Brenner's initials, VB, remain visible near Lincoln's shoulder. The reverse continues the Lincoln Memorial design introduced in 1959 by Frank Gasparo. The words United States of America appear around the upper edge, while 1 cent is displayed prominently in the center. The motto, E Pluribus Unum, is positioned above the memorial. Looking closely inside the memorial, collectors can even see a tiny image representing the seated statue of Abraham Lincoln, making this one of the most detailed designs ever placed on a circulating American coin. Condition plays a major role in determining the value of any 1982 Lincoln penny. Most circulated examples remain worth only face value or a few cents because they were produced in enormous numbers. However, coins preserved in mint state condition with original mint luster can command much higher prices. Collectors especially seek examples graded MS-66, MS-67, or higher by professional grading companies. At these elite grades, even common varieties can become surprisingly valuable due to their scarcity. Color is another important factor. Copper Lincoln cents are classified as brown, red-brown, or red, depending on how much original mint color remains. A brilliant red coin with nearly complete original color is generally worth much more than an otherwise identical brown example. Since copper naturally darkens over time, finding a fully red 1982 copper penny in outstanding condition is becoming increasingly difficult. Mint errors add another exciting dimension to collecting 1982 Lincoln pennies. Off-center strikes occur when the coin blank is improperly positioned during striking, leaving part of the design missing. Broad strikes, clipped planchets, die cracks, die chips, and struck-through errors are also collected enthusiastically. Depending on their appearance and severity, these mint errors can sell for anywhere from a few dollars to several $100s. Another popular variety involves doubled dies. A doubled die occurs during die production, causing parts of the design to appear doubled. Collectors inspect the date, the word liberty, and the motto "In God We Trust," using magnification to search for clear evidence of doubling. Genuine double die varieties are much scarcer than ordinary coins and usually attract strong collector interest. Professional grading companies such as PCGS and NGC have authenticated thousands of 1982 Lincoln pennies over the years. Their certification provides confidence that a coin is genuine, accurately identified, and professionally graded. This is especially important for valuable varieties like the famous 1982D small date copper cent, where authentication is essential before any collector or auction house will pay premium prices. Many people unknowingly own jars filled with 1982 pennies because the year was one of the highest production years in Lincoln cent history. Most people never bother checking the weight or date style, which means valuable discoveries are still possible. Experienced collectors often purchase large quantities of 1982 pennies simply to search for overlooked varieties. Every roll examined offers another opportunity to uncover something unusual. If you think you have a valuable 1982 Lincoln penny, begin by identifying whether it has a mint mark. Next, determine whether it is a large date or small date variety. Then weigh the coin using a digital scale capable of measuring to 1/100th of a gram. Finally, inspect it carefully for mint errors and signs of exceptional preservation. If your coin appears unusual or matches a rare variety, consider submitting it to a respected grading service for professional authentication. The story of a 1982 Lincoln penny reminds collectors that history can change with a single decision. The transition from copper to zinc marked the beginning of a new era in American coinage, creating varieties and rarities that continue to fascinate collectors decades later. While most 1982 pennies remain common, a few extraordinary examples have become legendary within the numismatic community. That possibility is what makes searching through old coins so rewarding. The next time you receive a handful of change, don't ignore the pennies. A careful look at the date, the mint mark, the weight, and the overall condition could reveal a hidden treasure. The 1982 Lincoln penny proves that one ordinary-looking coin can carry an extraordinary story, and sometimes the smallest coin in your pocket can become the biggest discovery in your collection. Keep searching, keep learning, and remember that every penny deserves a closer look because the next life-changing coin could already be waiting for you. If you want to build a consistent series for Hardest Penny, I can also write the next scripts in the exact same style for 1983, 1984, 1992, Close AM, 1995 Double Die, 1999 Wide AM, or 2009 Lincoln Bicentennial Pennies. Have you ever looked at an old penny in your pocket and wondered if it could be worth far more than just 1 cent? Imagine finding a coin that millions of people have ignored for decades, only to discover that collectors are willing to pay hundreds or even thousands of dollars for the right example. That is exactly why coin collecting has become one of the most exciting hobbies in the world. Today, we're taking a close look at one of the most interesting Lincoln cents ever produced, the 1968 Lincoln penny. At first glance, it may seem like an ordinary coin, but hidden within its history are rare varieties, valuable errors, and high-grade examples that can surprise even experienced collectors. So before you spend or overlook a 1968 Lincoln penny, make sure you watch until the end, because the coin sitting in your change jar could be much more valuable than you think. 1968 Lincoln penny. The 1968 Lincoln penny marked an important period in American coin history. It was produced during a time when the United States Mint had already stopped placing mint marks on coins for several years because of heavy demand. However, in 1968, mint marks officially returned, making this year especially significant for collectors. 3 different versions of the 1968 Lincoln penny were struck. Coins without a mint mark were produced in Philadelphia. Those with a D mint mark came from the Denver Mint, and the S mint mark identified coins struck at the San Francisco Mint. Although millions of these pennies were made, finding one in exceptional condition is much harder than many people realize. The obverse of the coin features the famous portrait of President Abraham Lincoln, designed by Victor David Brenner. His initials, VB, appear near the bottom of Lincoln's shoulder. Above Lincoln's head is the motto, "In God We Trust," while the word liberty appears to the left and the date 1968 appears on the right. On the reverse, collectors will find the familiar wheat replacement design known as the Lincoln Memorial, created by Frank Gasparo. This was one of the first. When discussing value, condition is everything. Most circulated 1968 Lincoln pennies are only worth a few cents above face value. However, coins that have never entered circulation and still display their original mint luster can command much higher prices. Collectors classify these coins using the mint state grading scale, commonly referred to as MS. A coin graded MS-63 or MS-64 may sell for only a modest premium. But once the grade reaches MS-66, MS-67, or higher, values can increase dramatically because so few coins survive in such pristine condition. The color designation also plays a huge role in determining value. Lincoln cents are generally classified as brown, red-brown, or red. A full red example retains nearly all of its original mint color and is usually the most desirable. Because copper naturally darkens over time, fully red coins for 1968 are much scarcer than many people expect, especially in top grades. One of the most exciting aspects of collecting the 1968 Lincoln penny is searching for mint errors. Mint errors happen when something goes wrong during the coin's production, creating unique pieces that collectors eagerly seek. Off-center strikes are among the most recognizable errors. Die cracks and die breaks are also worth watching for. As mint dies wear out from striking millions of coins, cracks can develop on their surfaces. These cracks appear as raised lines on finished coins. While small die cracks may only add modest value, larger die breaks or dramatic retained cuds often receive much stronger collector demand. Some collectors also search for repunched mint marks on 1968D and 1968S Lincoln pennies. During this period, mint marks were still punched into dies by hand. Occasionally, the mint mark was punched more than once in slightly different positions, creating a visible repunched mint mark variety. Strong examples are highly collectible and often sell for impressive premiums. The San Francisco Mint deserves special attention because it also produced proof Lincoln pennies in 1968. Proof coins are specially struck for collectors using polished dies and carefully prepared planchets. Unlike ordinary circulation coins, proof coins display brilliant mirror-like fields and frosted design details. A standard 1968 proof penny is affordable, but flawless examples graded at the highest levels can become surprisingly valuable, especially those with deep cameo contrast between the mirrored background and frosted portrait. Professional grading services, such as PCGS and NGC, have certified many outstanding examples of the 1968 Lincoln penny over the years. Population reports consistently show that while lower mint state grades are common, truly elite examples graded MS-67 red or MS-68 red are exceptionally scarce. This rarity explains why top-quality coins have sold for hundreds or even thousands of dollars at major auctions. If you own a 1968 Lincoln penny, examining it carefully is well worth the effort. Start by checking whether the coin has a mint mark below the date. Next, inspect the surfaces for original red color, sharp details, and strong mint luster. A magnifying glass or coin loupe can help you spot doubling, die cracks, or other unusual features. Never clean the coin, even if it appears dirty, because cleaning can permanently damage the surface and significantly reduce its value. Many beginners believe that every old penny is valuable, but experienced collectors know that rarity, condition, demand, and originality all work together to determine price. A worn 1968 Lincoln penny may only be worth a few cents, while another coin from the same year with exceptional quality or a rare mint error could be worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars. That difference is exactly what makes coin collecting so exciting. Another interesting fact is that millions of 1968 pennies remain hidden in old jars, piggy banks, inherited collections, and forgotten drawers across America. Every year, collectors continue discovering high-grade coins and previously unnoticed era varieties. Even today, there's always the possibility that an extraordinary example is waiting to be found in an ordinary collection. The 1968 Lincoln penny reminds us that value is not always obvious at first glance. A coin that once bought a piece of candy decades ago can now become a prized collectible because of its history, rarity, condition, or unique minting mistake. Whether you are an experienced numismatist or someone just beginning to explore the fascinating world of coins, the 1968 Lincoln penny is a perfect example of how a simple 1-cent coin can hold an incredible story and surprising value. So the next time you come across a 1968 Lincoln penny, don't rush to spend it. Take a closer look, inspect every detail, and you might discover that what appears to be an ordinary penny is actually an extraordinary treasure waiting to be recognized. If you'd like, I can also write the next script in the same style for another Lincoln penny year, 1969, 1970s, 1972 double die, etc., keeping it around 1,200 words with a strong YouTube-style intro.